Remember, push to talk, people, or mute.
Okay, let's start. Okay, welcome everyone. We are meeting today to let you know what we're gonna do regarding the first Molten Core clear. We are gonna attempt to clear the first week, the first reset. We have some plans in order for that, and Long you will talk about it afterwards. We're also gonna discuss what server we're gonna choose, as well as a few different level or first day shenanigans. We need to have a few different crafters for the first day. People that are willing to basically stop leveling in order to help other people ahead. This would work very well if we have people that, let's say, you know that you won't be able to play a lot the first week, or you can only play a few hours the first day. We might have a very, very good role for you, but we're going to talk about that afterwards. Longyu, I guess you can just start on the Molten Core part.
Yeah, sure. So our goal is to clear within the first reset, right? So there's a lot of things that we need to do as a guild to make that happen, and the biggest two hurdles is to getting the UBS key and gearing the tanks. So if you're not playing a tank, then like you getting gear the first reset is not very important. So we're gonna have lots of different assignments that we need to complete as a guild, and I'll give you some examples. For example, we need someone to have max alchemy, obviously, to make a lot of fire protection potions and mana potions and stuff like that. We need a leather worker to make some fire resistance gear. We need people to get fire resistance enchants for the tanks in BRD, and so on. And just to like put it into perspective, you need an industrial level of dream foil by the first time we enter Molten Core, just in pure mana potions and greater fire protection potions. We're also going to need someone or a few people to go that are not going to make it to 60 in the first reset to go fishing for armor potions and stuff like that. So basically we've compiled a list of tank gear that tanks need to focus on getting, and as well as fire resistance. We're talking about for all the melee that we were getting Mira Song and Thrash Blade for the first reset if possible. So that means that every melee is going to do one run of Maraudon and one run of Skolemans. And that's just because these items are guaranteed because they're quests. And the other thing is the douse prequest. So you need a couple of things to be able to douse the first reset. The hardest one is getting into UBRS and getting honored with Hydrexian Waterlord. So our plan right now is to have 7 or 8 people go to Silitus when they're like level 58 or 59, and just level the last part on the elementals in northwestern corner. So you kill them in a group until you're a bit past friendly, so that when you do the pre-quest line, then you get over honor as you do the quests, and you just do all the quests together. So basically the first group to hit 60 or near 60 are gonna have to sit in LBRS and try to get the key as fast. So if one person gets the first gemstone, then the group doesn't need to be intact. Only the person that has one part of the key needs to stay in LBRS. That was mostly it. Did I miss anything, Geezer?
No, I think it was okay. It's just very important to understand that like a few classes really need gear to do molten core. Like a mage doesn't really need that much of gear. The same goes for a few of the healers. You won't need to farm like every pre-raid bis item. So I'm guessing that mostly it's going to be mages and hunters having to farm the rep, and the warriors and rogues needs to focus on getting as much gear as they can in the different dungeons. We haven't decided like when we're going to go. It's going to be a decision that we're going to have to look at, like how does the roster stand up, right? We don't need to have 40 or 60s. You just need to have
Chainsaw, du datt ut.
crashed. Where did I drop off?
After you don't need 40 men.
Yeah,
You just need...
like you need to tanks to have like the best possible gear, right? So the way you're gonna do it is every single warrior that runs in the group should just try to get as much tanking gear as possible. So it doesn't matter if you're assigned to be a tank or not. Whoever has the gear when we feel we're ready is gonna, like, that's the only way to do it. It's not very hard to run molten core, but like RNG might decide who's gonna do what. So it's just for the melees, they are mostly gonna run dungeons. For the casters and hunters, we're mostly gonna go farm the rep and farm the herbs. We've also decided that since we have so many leveling groups, we should be doing the Onyxia pre-quest, or at least the BRD part of it, so that we might be able to do Onyxia right after molten core is down. So if everyone completes the BRD part, then you're gonna have like some delivery shit in Winter Spring and one UBRS run left afterwards. So it's not really a big task to complete afterwards. Some people might even be able to complete it like when they're actually leveling. It's dependent on how many UBRS runs we're going to go for. But I mean, I
think just the most important part of the Onyxia pre-quest is that if you have a dungeon leveling group, you go together as soon as you're like around level 50, you go to Burning Steps and you do the first quest where you kill a lot of dragons. You do that part in the dungeon group together out in the world. Then you need to fly around. There's like 6 or 7 steps where you need to fly around different places before you go into BRD. But just try to get that part done before you start leveling in BRD.
Yeah, I think the quest, like the Alliance quest, is far easier than Horde, so it shouldn't be a problem. But we're gonna have to watch, like, when we level, how does it look? We can't just say like now exactly how we're gonna do it, because it depends on like what classes do we need. Let's say you have a level 50 druid, like 6 hours before you're gonna go into molten core. Should you try and boost them up so you can join? Or should you drop them? Like, there's a few things we're going to have to look at afterwards, but basically the idea is to just push everyone up and try and farm as much gear as possible and then go. Yeah, I think that covers it, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, the priority on getting gear will always be on the tanks first. That's at least on the first reset. So we're not gonna put a lot of effort into dungeons that don't drop a lot of.
We're gonna make a list of the dungeons where we need to go and stuff. It's gonna be out before we start leveling, I guess. But I guess that's the molten core part of it. Then we can talk about the servers. Blizzard managed to release 2 European PvP servers, which is not enough. But seeing as we have 2, you have 2 choices. You can either go Golemag or you can go Shastra. We haven't decided yet. I mean, we still have time. I would suggest to you that what you're going to do is when you can reserve a name, you reserve your main character name on both servers, and then you reserve your second name on Shastra. It's most likely we are going to go on that server, I would guess. We still haven't decided on it, but it seems that that would be the server most beneficial to us. Right now, at least. I guess that's it. What was the third thing we're going to talk about? Yeah, the first day. So we've talked about this before. On the first day, we need people to level a few different things. Like we need someone to go create the guild. We need someone to level up enchanting so they can make wands. At least for the guys that's gonna level solo, it'll be important to get a wand. And the guy who's making the wands is gonna go with either leatherworking or tailoring in order to craft green items that he can disenchant. So the way we're gonna do it is people need to pick up skinning. You skin when you level around, when you walk around. You send your what's it called, the leather, the shitty one.
Leather scraps and light leather.
Yeah, you send your leather scraps and light leather to this character. And we're gonna have a different character who's gonna have enchanting and tailoring. Which means you're just gonna send your light leather to this character. And he can start creating... First of all, he's gonna create wands, of course, but he might be able afterwards to craft bags and stuff for people as well. So it's very important that everyone needs to contribute to this. If you have linen cloth and you're not a warrior, you should just send it. Same if you're a rogue, obviously, but like if you're a priest, you don't really need it. If you're gonna level like in a group or something, so you should just send it away to an assigned character.
Yeah, we also need people to actually, and it would be beneficial, like people that know they're not going to be able to hit 60 in the first reset to do this.
And the last thing that we're going to need is, this as well is for the people who's going to level solo, but we need someone to create bronze tubes. That's for the, what's the zone again?
That's good.
Duskwood Zone. There's a quest that you need bronze tube for, but there's also a huge market for it, since it's an item that, well, everyone who goes to Duskwood is going to need. There's a lot of gold to be made, and if we go together as a guild, we are going to be the first ones to enter that market. That means that if we have one assigned character that minus and people just pick up random copper and tin ores send it to, he's gonna make a few hundred gold just by crafting these items, which is of course very beneficial this early on a server. Whoever is willing to do this, of course it's going to take a bit away from your leveling. You're going to have to devote yourself to these tasks. It's very beneficial for the guild to have someone to do this. It's probably not going to be that beneficial for you, although of course you're going to get free levels on the different professions that you're going to do, but for the guild overall, it's going to be a huge boost to have someone to do this. Like every single member can do certain quests, or they can get ones to push faster. They can have a bag crafter that, like, you can fill your bags faster. Like whatever it is, it's gonna be a bonus for us overall. So if you're willing to do it, you should just whisper me, Chainsaw, and we can make an arrangement for it, I guess. That was the topics that we had. I've gotten a few questions from people over the days. One of them was what we're going to do at level 60. Well, we've already discussed that. Another one is how will the guild decide who gets Scarab Lord, RTS, and other highly sought after stuff? Well, if you say Scarab Lord and RTS, I guess Thunder Fury is the third one. Obviously, Thunder Fury is going to go to a tank. Scarab Lord, I'm guessing, you're going to make a pool of players, and whoever is willing to do it, let's say if you have several people, we're going to need to find a way how to decide who's going to get it. Regarding RTS, I think a good way to sort that one out is to say whoever has the most raids when the first, it's not a binding, but shard splinter or what it is going to get it. I think that's a fair way of giving out that item. We haven't decided yet on it, but it's probably going to be something like that. Will the guild keep track of the loot council's loot distribution? Yes, every single decision a player takes we will keep track of. It needs to be spot on in order for our system to work, so we need, of course, to log every decision made. Raid times and what days of the week? We're gonna raid from 7 till 11 most of the days. Our flagship is always gonna run on Wednesdays, and we're probably gonna fill with Thursday, Sunday, and Tuesday, most likely. Of course, this depends on the player. If we had 120 players that wanted to raid Thursday, then we would raid that day, but these are maybe the best days of raiding, but it is something we're going to have to look at, because it's the players who decide who's going to decide this in the end. And what server will we play on? Well, I answered this earlier. Most likely, as it stands now, it's going to be Shasra. They release more servers. It might change, but most likely it's going to be that one. Have all the roles gotten filled? No. We have some roles that needs to be filled still. I mean, it's like we haven't made a designated loot council for the flagship. We haven't made raid leaders for the other raids yet. because it will depend on whoever's willing to do it, as well as who will the competition be, right? So it's something we're gonna have to fill as we go. When the second raid starts, we just have to find someone to start with, and then most likely it's just gonna find a natural raid leader in the end, like most raids do. Yeah, I think that's it.
Excuse me, could I ask a follow-up question on that?
Yeah, of course.
Could you give us a breakdown of what roles you actually need to fill at this moment?
Yeah. Well, of course we need one caster role or caster representation in the flagship raid as a what do we call it again? A raid council. We need a content creator, someone who can make or add videos, edit them. Well, what else do we need?
I think most importantly, we need people that are not gonna hit level 60 in the first reset, that we can rely on to be the ones that craft wands, for example, and stand out in different places and trade people want. And also need people to farm what we were talking about, fire, the elemental fire, elemental earth, shit like this. Because obviously, if you're rushing to 60, you're not going to be able to sit and farm elemental fire, right? But we still need 100. But I suppose that's not really a role in the guild. That's still something we need to fill, position.
Yeah, it's true. I think he was asking about what certain roles we needed. Of course,
correct.
Yeah. Of course, if you're a player who knows that you're not gonna raid in the flagship, but you're fair, you like contributing loot, or you like having a certain role in a raid, you can, of course, already now let me know. We can already start crafting the other raids so that when they get up and going, it's already going to be maybe it's half full already with the people who's going to be in charge. Also, for all the roles that are taken, if you know that you want to have this or that role, every single spot will always be up for discussion, because obviously we need to have the best possible roster in every role, in the raiders, in the offices, in every specific place we have in the guild. We want the best possible person to be. So in a sense, a lot of the roles are taken, but a lot of the roles are still up for grab if we have people willing to contribute. Do we have any more questions?
Yeah, I have one. Do we know anything about the other big guilds, which server they're choosing?
Yeah, we know that apes are gonna go for Golemag. We know that Progress is going for Shastra. Rumor has it that Return is gonna play Golemag. There's a Scandinavian, not coalition, but a group of guilds. They are most likely gonna roll on Shastra as well. Although they haven't decided yet, it seems like it's gonna be that server for them. I don't know where Dream State is going. And well, I'm not really sure who all the big guilds are, to be honest. It's kind of hard to to keep track of all the guilds, seeing as most of them have changed names and.
Didn't also the Spanish coalition said they were going gold, Mike? Or they hinted to us at least. Yeah,
that's true. What about split rates for flagship rates? The idea is that the most efficient way of doing it is to have a flagship raid where everyone or almost everyone plays an alt. You chop the raid into two, and you run Molten Core Nyxia. Then you split for a Nyxia, so you're gonna run 2 Molten Cores and 4 Nyxias in the 4 hours that you have available. That's the most efficient way of doing it. If you take players' own personal time into account. Of course, this might change, but this is the way we think it's going to be the easiest way to do it for us. Because then you're still going to have to only raid 1 day a week, but you're going to raid, 4 different raids on 1 day. But obviously this might change. It depends how long are people going to use to get to 60 with their main and then with their alt. But down the line, this seems like the best way of doing it.
I have a question as well.
Yeah.
Since there's some people interested,
Skifter
do
du
we
på scenen
have any
etterpå, da?
plans of joining
Akkurat
the...
nå sitter jeg i et møte.
Who is on open mic? Do we have any plans on joining the Scandinavian group of guilds?
The group of guilds, it's not a coalition of sorts. It's just like they've gathered. I'm in a Discord channel with, let's say, it's 48 different guild leaders of different guilds, Scandinavian, where the idea is to just get all of them to roll on the same server, but it's no talk about a coalition in between them. It's just more to get a sort of Scandinavian server, right? I guess it's a bit like the Spanish are doing.
It's
They
not
are
a
just
coalition,
getting-
no. But do we have any interest in actually joining the same server as those guilds?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. It's not if I can choose between joining them or joining the Spanish guys, I would rather choose the Scandinavian players.
Yeah.
I think also it's in our interest, like in generally, if a lot of Scandinavian people roll in the same server, then after a couple of months, then a lot of those skills are not going to be around anymore, but the players are still going to be there. So we'll have a larger pool to recruit.
Yeah, maybe we'll get 400 people then.
Yeah, maybe.
I have a
do
question.
more work, Future, so that you can review all applications. We just need to keep you occupied.
Yeah. I have a question, Jinsel.
Yeah.
Can you explain the benefit of getting an alt up to level 60 before pre-raid bis?
Yeah, of course. So the thing is, obviously, first we're going to clear Molten Core. That's the main goal. You clear it the first time. Then when the week 2 start, you're going to clear it again on Wednesday, most likely. The bonus is that, if you level your alt in phase 1, first of all, you're going to have layers, which means it's easier to run around in the world. Secondly, you're going to have more potential raids than if you wait like half a year to level it. It's going to contribute as a second raider for the guild, which obviously is a huge benefit. And like if you take the 3 different ones, you take leveling alt, you take farming gold and materials, and you take farming pre-raid biz, right? That's the 3 big ones, because you don't have ranking yet. Getting pre-raid biz is not really important in the start, because if you've already cleared Molten Core and you've already cleared Onyxia, then you know you have no problem doing it. Like, you don't need better gear to do it. Of course, having better gear makes it easier, but if you get better gear, you still can't use that gear for ranking. You still need to wait for phase 2. However, if you level up an alt, then that will obviously be easier to do in phase 1. Farming will be easier to do in phase 1 because of the layering. Now, seeing as they've released 2 servers, most likely we're going to have layering for the entire server anyways, but if it for some reason doesn't happen, imagine trying to run around farming with 50,000 people on the server online at the same time. Like, you're never gonna get a single herb. Obviously this will never happen, but if Blizzard actually stays true to their word, then this will be the scenario. So, like, getting pre-raid biz, of course, it is important, but it's not on top of the priority list. But like always, you choose yourself what you want to do. Like, it's not going to be mandatory for anyone to do this or that, but just like in general, it would be easier to focus on farming materials and leveling an alt if you're going to do that than to get pre-raid biz. But it's up to each individual player. Well, what you said, Insulin, the Scandinavian server people said that they wanted to work against coalition of guilds on the server in terms of Devilsaur. Yeah, that's true. They don't want any, like, they wanted to dodge us. They wanted to dodge apes. They wanted to dodge all the bigger guilds because they didn't want us to. Well, didn't want to have someone on the server that was going to manipulate the markets. Obviously, Devilsaur with layering is going to be fucked, but if layering actually gets removed, then it's going to be quite interesting to see what's going to happen. But I don't think that it's going to go away. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'd like to shoot one more message or a question actually. Question is, I was late to this meeting, so I apologize for that, and maybe I missed it. But have you guys been discussing the PvP scene at all? Like, what can I find that information somewhere else?
Well, no, we haven't. We haven't really discussed the PvP part yet, since it's coming in phase 2. But of course.
Sorry.
Yeah. Go.
Keep talking, mate. Just go.
No, but it's just like we need to get up first. When we're up, we're gonna see, and by the time that phase 2 starts coming around, we are gonna have our pre-mates ready for like farming and stuff. But that's not really something that we discussed like really in detail yet. But it's gonna come by the time that the server releases phase 2.
Yeah, so my question was, myself were thinking maybe going warrior, just an example, maybe other people are going rogues or whatever, but example, those people are actually going for the rank 14. Is there any like benefits for those people? Is a guild going to help you out, or is that all on your own? Or what's your take on that, based on maybe loot distribution later on and those type of questions? Or will the guild help you to rank up to 14? And yeah, those type of question was my main concern with the topic, if that's been discussed.
I can address that. We haven't talked about it yet. We talked about it the last meeting, but we can talk about it now as well. So the way it works is for a guild to succeed in ranking, it needs the other members to contribute, right? So let's say phase 1, you have 3 things you need to do. You need to get pre-raid bis, you need to level an alt if you're going to do that, or you have 4 things because you need to level a warlock as well, right? And you need to farm gold, right? So when phase 2 starts, obviously it's going to be out in the world. So the way you should do it, let's say you're going to play a warrior, well, you're going to go to burning steps, most likely. You're going to have engineering and mining. You're going to go running around with your team, you're going to farm, and you're going to kill, right? Now, obviously, when phase 3 starts, now you're going into battlegrounds. Now you need to push consumables, because that's the only way you're actually going to be able to beat the best. You're going to need to push it all, right? So the guild needs to contribute. We need people standing in to play in the different pre-mates, but we also need to help on the consumable side. How exactly how we're gonna do it, we haven't decided yet. We're gonna have to watch how many rankers we're gonna have and stuff. But yes, we will contribute to our rankers, determined on what rank they're going for. If you're going for rank 7, you're getting no help. If you're going for rank 14, obviously you're getting help, right? Regarding the PvP items, that's items dropped in raids, I'm guessing. The items will be determined by a PvP council. So we're gonna have, let's say if we had 4 raids going, right? And we had 8 warriors that said they were gonna go for rank 14, okay? Now, there's 2 weapons you want. You want the Spinal Reaper or you want the Bone Reaver's Edge. Now, obviously, these players would have to be given priority on these items, right? But the players themselves needs to decide, who should get it. Because let's say you're rank 12 and Bone Reaver's Edge drops. And you have a rank 6 warrior who's going to go for 14. Then you're not going to get it when you're rank 12 because you're soon going to be finished anyways, right? So that's the entire PvP item market is going to be determined by the rankers themselves. Because basically that's the best way of doing it. But that's something that's going to be decided not straight away, but before we hit phase 2 at least, it's going to be decided we're going to need clear cut who's going to rank and who's not going to rank on those items. Is that good?
Yeah, thank you. I understand. Basically, we can probably discuss that later, as you said, as it's not really a important topic. I just wanted to have some base thoughts of what you guys have been going through. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, that's fine. I see V's question. Have you put together a list of patterns, recipes sold in limited supply, and who should run and buy it ASAP? No, but that's very smart, actually. There are some patterns, recipes that we should get ASAP. I'm gonna write that down because obviously that's something we should be looking at for at least a few of them. It's gonna be it should be very important to get them. Since we have a lot of people here, what you can do is if you write in the meeting channel now, then you write down every single item that you know that is a rare recipe. So for example, if you know healing potion, that's a rare recipe, right? And all the other that you know about, just write it in the meeting channel, and then we can make the list as we go now. Any more questions?
Yeah, I was wondering, for a friend who is in the guild but couldn't attend the meeting, what's the plan considering like off-meta specs and classes? Like for instance, he's considering rolling a Retribution Paladin, and so what's the way things are gonna go? I guess that classes like that won't have a spot in the flagship raid if they want it, right?
No, but like I've said it before, but obviously we have a lot of new members and stuff, but we are gonna have spots for people who play like Red Paladin, Boomkin. Maybe you play a arm spec warrior because you can't afford to respec, right? But we're gonna put all of them in one raid. Because obviously that raid needs to be the raid with the least priority. Because people will not be willing to play with players that are running specs that are not really like valid per se, right?
Viable.
But yeah, but we will have one raid that's going to be where people are going to be allowed to run these specs.
A fun raid. If you like fun.
And it's going to be a raid that's going to take a bit longer, but it's still going to be a raid that's going to clear. So I don't think it's going to be a problem overall. And I guess we have a few members who might be new, who might not be that experienced in the game, and I mean, there won't really be a problem, I guess, having people running these specs, but like I said, it's going to be a raid that's going to run by itself. It's not going to be it's not going to be like the flagship, of course.
Yeah.
How is the loot going to be on that raid? Like if you're on a Red Paladin, are you going to compete against warriors for the loot? No. So you will get loot, like healing loot, if you're a Red Paladin?
Yeah, I mean, if you play a Red Paladin, you still might be able to get loot, of course. But you're not gonna get, like, you're never gonna get like Bone Reaver's Edge over a warrior. We're gonna need to balance some of the raids as well. So let's say in a raid like this, you would still have to have with you like main raiders. There would still be core raiders in this raid, but you can't give a top priority item to a Red Paladin, even though he gets to play the class. Obviously, when it comes down to loot that are like, let's say you have loot that are like maybe off spec or not that top priority, of course people can get those items, but you're never going to get like a
DFT or a Curia.
Yeah, you're not getting DFT or Band of Curia to a Paladin, or you're not going to get like a Staff of the Shadow Flame on a Boomkin, because let's face it, why would you get it? There's absolutely no point, because it doesn't increase, like, it increases your damage, but if you gave it to someone else, it would increase them even more. So in a guild perspective, the guild would lose by giving it to someone who doesn't play a proper, like, spec.
If there's no questions, I have some information.
Yeah.
This does not. The new guys, the one who applied like the last 10 days, you don't need to worry about this. But all the other players who are in the roster, who has, if you go onto the Symbol website, symbolguild.com with a bindestrek between Symbol and Guild.
What?
Hyphen.
You mean a dash?
A bindestrek.
Dash.
You have to go onto your account. If you're in the roster, you have to go into your account and fill out all the information. There's an edit button up in the top right corner when you go into your account. You have to fill in all the information. If you're planning to do streaming on Twitch, you can fill in your Twitch username. That's all you have to fill in, and you will automatically get into the streams section of the website. So you will get promoted by the guild with your streaming. If you're planning to stream, of course you have to behave and be an adult because you represent the guild and everything like that. But yeah, we will. You can get the streamer tag if you go into the streamer down below where we talk now in Discord, and just write "give me a tag" and I will tag you up, and you will get some streaming stuff for the. Yeah, I will put up some information regarding streaming. Also, if you don't manage to fill up your account, you won't get the radar tag by the bot. This bot has not been set up with the new system, but during the next days we will set up the bot, and everyone who has not managed to do anything correct will get a bot message. And one day after that bot message, we're going to remove everyone from the Discord that has not managed to do this. I will put it up in more detailed information. So if you get a bot message, fix it and check for your radar tag. If you don't have a radar tag, you won't see most of the Discord, but you will also get removed one day after the bot gets up, because we have 120 people that have managed to do it correct, and we have 230 people that has not managed to do it yet. So just go in and check, see if everything sorts out with icon flag, and Discord ID is important. Don't have any, put up the Discord ID correctly. Yeah. Also, if there's anyone that has a hobby like anything within content creation, like if you're good in Photoshop, if you're good with photo editing, video editing, we would like you to talk with me, Kruxor, so I can set you up with a tag. This does not mean you will get a lot of jobs from us. We'll try to make a community where people can come with, like, if someone wants a new overlay on their Twitch, or if someone has a cool movie and they need some artwork for the movie, they can come with, can you make this? And people can make it, and we will make cool content for everyone. This does not have to be official content, but we would like to make something that people can watch when we are all done with Classic. Look back upon. So if you have any skills, just let me know. And I think that's all.
Yeah, I think we can round this up. Unless someone has like a last question or something they would like to add, or.
Are we going to have any more guild meetings regarding to MC strategies?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna have a meeting like straight right before the server releases, where we're gonna go through like who has the actual roles, what are people gonna do. Like a lot of people are just gonna focus on themselves, leveling up, doing like their own thing, and some people need to contribute. But we need to have all of this sorted out before we start, so that like we know what we're gonna get from every individual member. So Yeah, go.
No, you wasn't done. I was going back. Just completed.
No, I'm done.
Going back to the if you're not on the roster, like if you can't find yourself on the roster, you probably applied to the guild long time ago and you haven't done done the survey, the survey we had up for ages, and we constantly nagged people to go on the survey and fix it. If you haven't done this yet, you won't be on the roster. You have to apply again to the guild to get your account created and put into the roster. So if you can't find yourself on the roster, just apply again and I will accept you. Yeah, that's what you have to do if you can't find yourself on the roster.
While we're talking about the roster and new people and such things like that, I actually have some friends who have been applying these last days. They don't still have the the possibilities of seeing the Discord and stuff like that. Is that something being taken care of over the days, or how does that topic look at you guys? I know you have much at hand probably, but that's why I'm asking.
I'm taking all the applications. Some people just say friends and then don't come with any information. I'll auto decline them. They have to put in a proper application. But when everything is done, I accept them, and they should be on the Discord already. But if they're not on Discord, I make a comment, PM Kruxo, they PM me, and I give them all the ranks they need. Okay. So they will automatically get approved rank. But if they haven't done the account correctly, they won't get a radar, because it's the bot who does the radar upgrade if everything is done.
Okay, yeah, I'll bash them. I'll bash the information into them. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that's it. If people have further questions, just write them in this meeting 1108 channel, and we can address them there. If you have something that you would like to contribute with, you can always just toss it out there. It's very important to get as much information from people as we can. I guess that's it.
Nice meetup, 100 people.
Yeah. That's good. Very good, guys. So next meeting is going to be a day or two before the server releases, I guess.
Then 2 weeks.
Yeah, in about 2 weeks, yeah. So have a good one, guys.
Yeah, thanks for hosting.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Take care, guys.
Hej då!
Hej hej!
Hej, Pifidefärt.
Hej.
Tja! Jag begår ett misstag och rollar warrior, tänkte jag.
Ja, det är fan ett misstag alltså.
Nej, men jag tror att jag hade velat prova spela tank faktiskt. Det verkar rätt chill.
Jag kommer sakna det, men jag tror huvudanledningen att jag inte kör tank igen är för att med mitt nya jobb så tror inte jag kommer ha tid.
Ja.
Inte om jag vill gå hardcore i alla fall.
Nej. Nej, jag var som sagt sugen, så jag tänkte på flera dagar och sen så bara orkar jag inte sitta och compete om raidspot mot typ 80 pers, och samtidigt så tycker jag om att styra och ställa raiden lite grann, och då känns som att en bra ställe att göra det ifrån kan faktiskt funka som tank.
Ja, det är nog den bästa positionen om man vill liksom leda raidets flow liksom. Jag gillar det.
Ja, så min första fråga är, funkar det att typ ranka egentligen när man ska spela Prot World? Jag antar att du inte har gjort det, så kanske det är en svår fråga så, men hur har du känt att pacen är, så att säga, allmänt?
Alltså, jag är 99% säker att de kommer göra så här i Symbol, att de när vi börjar PvP så kommer de förmodligen göra så att vi raidar på onsdag. Och sen nästa vecka raidar vi på hur blir det? Ja, på tisdag. Så att man spelar typ i 2 veckor utan att behöva respekka. För det kommer bli otroligt hög kostnad annars.
Ja, precis. Det var det som följt frågan. Det var det jag försökte liksom få fram lite med PvP-frågorna. Men jag förstår att de kanske inte har tänkt på det själv eftersom att det inte reflektar deras
det kommer ju inte på ett tag så.
önskemål. Nej, och att det inte reflektar deras önskemål. För jag antar att inte så många officers egentligen verkar spela Prot Warriors, om vi säger så.
Nej, och jag tror att ska du köra Prot Warrior så kommer du inte få någon plats. För du måste späcka arms.
Ja, precis, det fattar jag. Jo, såklart. Jo, det var därför jag frågade till exempel med alltså contributions från gilden, bland annat.
Men det verkar som att de kommer hjälpa till i alla fall.
Ja. Hur ser gearingen ut? Alltså, för det är liksom det är den enda grejen egentligen som skrämmer mig. Det är att jag kommer behöva sitta på typ 18 gear sets.
Men det är lite så är det.
I'm out, signer off.
Det som är gött när man kommer till Naxxramas är för att du har typ 2 gear sets och de är så starka att de gör allting. Men i början, du kommer behöva en fire resistance, du kommer behöva en protection eller defense set liksom. Du kommer behöva threat. Du kommer behöva vad heter det, nature för AQ och alltså massa. Och såklart också thorns damage. Så att det är många sätt, men det är värt det för det är jävligt, så det är den roligaste klassen att spela. Den roligaste rollen tycker jag. Och är gilden smart så gör det inte så mycket att du har så många sätt, för du kommer bli prioriterad för Onyxia Hide Backpack. Det är jag nästan säker på att de kommer göra.